Warning: the following messaging teaches you about contouring. Be advised that contouring is not required by law. The views on contouring presented in this video solely represent the habits of the creator. Do you, girl?
Hey guys, what's up? It's Anjali and welcome to Contouring for Dummies. The clapping will be loud on the microphone. That's right. You a dummy. But when we're done, you ain't gonna be a dummy no more. I get a lot of messages from friends about contouring and what it is and who and why and what the hell. I'm gonna break it down for you, and I'm gonna make it like simple, and I'm gonna tell you what the hell we're doing here. You, but only if you want. You know, consent. Consent yourself. Contour, an optical illusion. We're trying to look sunned and skinnied, all times of the year. Girl, you goddamn face. But to be honest, you can contour other parts of your body. We will not be covering that on this channel. You are free to just googly Google those things. This ain't that kind of channel. Because we're vain, and we're not gonna stop now. It's 2018, we're women, we're here, we're liberated. We're just gonna do what we wanna do. There are two ways to contour. Or at least there are two ways I'm gonna show you how to contour. There's the extra way and then there's the lazy way. And basically the extra way is just more steps before the lazy way. One side of my face, the extra way, and then the lazy way we're gonna do on this side of my face. The tools you will need for the extra way. You will need some sort of contouring stick or cream. This is the Jordana Sculpt and Glow stick. Pretty sure this was $6. This is in the shade medium. The other thing you're gonna need for the extra way, a sponge. Other tools you're gonna need for all the ways. You're gonna need a contour powder. I have a fancy Marc contour powder, and then I also have a Morphe contour palette. You will need a small, slightly fluffy but slightly dense precision brush. This is it relative to my giant ass face. An angled, fluffy brush. Here are two options I am presenting to you. Another option, a brush like this. Tulipped, slightly domed, wiry, bristly, fluffy, but stiff. Ooh. Yeah. Then to top it off, you're gonna need a bronzer. This is the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. This is a shitty little bronzer I got in my Ipsy bag. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bronzer in the shade Light. Look at how much lighter that is. That's basically my skin tone. I also have bronzers that are basically orange. That's a good example. We'll talk more about that later. That's what you're gonna need. Let's go down the list again. You're gonna need a contour stick, a sponge. You're gonna need a contour brush, which is the small one. You're gonna need a bronzing powder. You're gonna need a contouring powder. And you're gonna need a bronzer brush. We good to go. You got this. Before we start any of this carve-in beautification, we gotta do some makeup to start. So, I'm gonna prep my face with all the goodness. We're gonna prime, we're gonna foundation, and we're gonna conceal. Okay, face is a little on. Primer, foundation, concealer. Time to contour, baby. So basically with contouring, we're trying to create more of a shape to my face. We're trying to turn like this lady, you know, into like a Russian Brazilian supermodel lookalike. And we can now. It's easy with the contouring. With the use of these powders and creams and techniques and specific placement, we can create the illusion of more face shape and shadows and whatever. You're gonna like it. On the extra side of my face basically means the cream contour side. So I'm gonna take my contour stick. Mind you, I have not powdered my foundation yet. This is still just plain old foundation face. I've not even powdered my concealer yet. The places we contour: forehead, cheekbone, chin, nose. First place I'm gonna go in is my chin. I'm gonna go in along my jawline, along that line. Do you see that? Hey. Next place I'm gonna go in is my cheek. Basically gonna draw a little line from the top of my ear to my corner of my lip, or wherever my cheekbone kind of ends. My cheekbone is a little lower, so it starts a little bit right here. But you can draw it wherever you want your cheekbone to be. Draw wherever. I'm only gonna go in though, a little bit past my eye. I'm going in very lightly. You can always put more. You can't take any away. Then the last place we're gonna do it is my forehead. Based on how big your forehead is, you can be a little more strategic. I have a fat and wide forehead, just like the rest of my face. So I go in mostly on the sides. But you can go in more towards the center if you have a really tall forehead. Ooh, last place we can go is the nose. So we're gonna go a little bit on the side of my nose, like that. So we got 4 lines: chin, cheek, forehead, nose. Rub it on. Let's talk really quick about the color of contour. This is brown. It's a little bit darker than your skin tone. Please note that this is a slightly grayer, cool toned brown, because it'll create a shadow. What you don't want is a warm tone brown. So when I put this on my hand, this is our Jordana one. It's a little bit grayer toned. This is a bronzer one. It's a little more orange. We don't want a Trump up in here, okay? So try your best to avoid that. And that's been your PSA on how to avoid being orange. I always think it's better to blend out cream contour with a sponge. Now that's me. Some people do it with a brush. Even the brush we're gonna use for our powder contour is not a bad option. It's a little bit dense. You want something that's gonna blend out a little bit. You can also use your foundation brush. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do slight tapping motions, slight press, and move. And we don't wanna move it too much away from its original line. When we put it on the chin, it'll create more of a shadow that makes my jawline look more defined, and less like I eat 10 pounds of pancake every day. You know what I'm saying? Next, with my forehead, we're gonna blend north up into the hairline. Yeah. Next, with your cheekbone, you're gonna blend up toward your eye, like that way. My sideburns are in the way. So you see, what we want to do is create the illusion of a deeper cheekbone. So blending it down doesn't really help us do that. Last, our nose. This is very minute. You want to do very small tappity motions. Nose contouring is for the advanced writers only. Now, if you want to go back in like we had said before and do a little more, you can. What I always say is start closer to your ear, because if you're going to put more product on somewhere, you want it to be closer to the ear. Make sure you go in a little bit of a diagonal line, like that. A little bit more riding, and we're always going to blend it up. And you can even take some of that extra and blend it up along the side of here, too. Cool. I'm gonna put a little bit more on my forehead on this side because, again, big fat face, big wide face. And we're trying to make it look a little more slim. Blend until you can't see a definitive line anymore. Too much blending is never a bad thing. Blend until you can't blend no more. Blend until you can't see the point. Okay, the extra part is done. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of continue with the rest of our foundation face routine. I'm gonna set my under eyes, I'm gonna set my foundation, and then we can pick back up on the rest of it. Okay, so I've set my under eyes and I've set the rest of my foundation with powder, which is super important for our next step because the next part is gonna be our powder contour, which is our lazy girl contour. It's the contour I do, I would say 95% of the time. That's the contour I wear every single day to work, but you better set your makeup first. The reason why is because we wanna set powder with powder. So powder will go on top of the powder that we put on before. But anyway, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. So the other version we can do is powder contour. I'm gonna take my Morphe contour palette. It's like a big palette full of all the powders of your face. You can use this yellow powder to set your under eyes or any of these powders. This is a highlight shade. This is like a little color correcty shade. These are all contour powders. And notice how none of them are really orange at all. They're all very gray toned, especially this one. Like, goddamn. Goddamn. This is the lightest one, so I usually mix this one and this one together. But we're gonna put those in the same places that we put our cream contour, okay? I'm gonna take it on my little precision small brush, tap here, a couple taps there. Then I'm gonna start. I always start on my cheek with the powder contour, I don't know why. But I always start near the ear, and then I blend circular, small circular motions, and I circular out, and I blend toward my cheek like that. Now do you see how that were orange, it wouldn't look like there's almost like a little shadow dimple? Please also note how I'm blending up. Blend into the sky. Now we're gonna go in on the forehead, keeping it on the sides. There is glitter on this, I don't know why. Keeping it on the sides of my forehead, but continuing on into the center. This is a good example to show you if you ever saw the Kim Kardashian thing of the three. Well, the three, like that. See? That's how that's represented. See how we did that? That's where the three comes from. But it's not just like go ape shit with the three. She's like going there drawn on the crown. Kim Kardashian doesn't do her own makeup. Get out of here. She's like, I just like I didn't go everywhere with this. I'm like, all right, relax. Now we're gonna go in on our chin again. And I keep it very close on my chin line. And the biggest way, the easiest way for me to get a sense of the chin line, because again, I'm a slug monster, so it almost is hard to tell where my neck starts and my face ends. I really try and tilt my head up and over. And that really gives me a sense of my chin line. And then I put a couple of my fingers here on the bottom and I trace along there. And I keep the brush really on that line. And again, we're gonna blend really good. Nothing beats the power of a good freaking blend, okay, you guys? If you wanted a deeper contour, what you could do, you could keep going in on the darker shade. Make sure it's a grayer, cool tone shade. We don't want no orange in here. So I dip back into that darker shade only. And do you see how deeper that got? Another way that you can help yourself with the contour line, suck in your cheeks. This line is generated is usually a pretty good indicator. And last step, the nose contour. Now, I like to nose contour with powder with a flat shader brush, like a fat one. Okay? I'm gonna take the lighter powder, just tap a couple times, tap off excess, and I go in on the side here, start at the top, and that's it. The other thing is, depending on your nose shape, see, I have a little bit of a lip here, so I touch it up on the bottom here, because I want to make that look less prominent. And then you can take the other side of that shader brush and you can start to blend it out. And then you can feather it up into your eyebrow. Cute. I'm just gonna do it on the other side. I'm cheating now, I know. Again, the nose contour is for advanced writers only. But now my nose looks all skinny and cute. So, I ain't sorry. So that's powder contour. Powder, cream. But remember, this is the extra side, right? People will go over their cream contour with powder contour, so that's what I'm gonna do. It does look snatched, I'll tell you. Last step, bronzer. Bronzer, depending on the bronzer you get, some people contour with bronzer. This bronzer by Physicians Formula is one of my faves because I can contour with this bronzer. It's warm enough, it's light enough, and it's also cool enough. I mean, it barely looks like it's on my skin, but it's slightly warm, slightly cool. I could do it all over my face. It's super quick, but the point of bronzer, really, is to make yourself look a little bit more tan, not necessarily chiseled. So we like to go and finish up and, you know, get rid of any of those harsh lines with a little bit of bronzer on top of the contour. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna take this bronzer that's slightly a little bit more warm. I'm gonna take it on a big angled fluffy brush. I'm gonna dip in a couple times, tap it off a couple times. I'm gonna start it on my forehead, and I see how liberally I'm going in on the whole fucking forehead. I'm kind of avoiding my eyebrows, but I'm kind of just going in along my hairline. Can you see that difference? Now, I'm gonna go in the same here on my cheekbone, and see I'm like kind of tackling my entire cheek. Bronzer is a lot more forgiving in terms of precision. But you can basically just trace over in more broad strokes all the places that you put your contour. You can go over your entire nose with the bronzer. Cause your nose got tan at the beach this summer, girl. When we went to Mykonos, we had men, we had drinks, we got sun. It was great. And so this is the contour look, guys. This is how we got cheekbones. We woke up and gave birth to a cheekbone. And this is where we end the bronzer contour portion of our evening. I'm gonna finish up my makeup and then we'll go over a couple things. Sound good? Sound good, dummy? You ain't a dummy no more, girl. Remember that. You learned something. Okay, so my makeup is done. This is the contour. With all the highlight and everything, of course, blinding ya. This is the powder side. This is the cream side. Basically, it gives life to your face. It gives dimension to your face. It makes you look just a little bit more, you know, Victoria's Secret runway ready. Why again? The point of contour again is to create shadows on your face that obviously aren't really there. So it's about taking powder that's slightly darker than your skin tone. You don't want it to be too dark because then it'll be too stark. You want the powder to be a little bit cooler, as in grayer, as in not too orange in undertone. You don't want orange brown powder, you want grayer brown powder. Now that doesn't mean gray powder, but it means grayer powder. What's the green one, the orange one, and the purple one? Girl, that is not contouring. That is color correcting, which might be a story for another day. But basically, all the shit that goes on underneath your face that you're not proud of, all the acne scarring, all the dark circles, all the redness, all the bullshit, that's what the green one and the orange one and the purple one, that's what they're for. That's not contouring. Why do I look bad right now? It's okay. Just pretend it's Halloween. No, but seriously, I don't think I'm fantastic at contour. Really, I don't. It all takes practice. The biggest things to get down is learning how to put it in the right place, how to be precise about it, and how to blend. And all that stuff takes a lot of practice. It takes doing it every day. And listen, if you don't like it, take it off, start again. Take it off, start again. It's okay. What's the difference between bronzer and contour? Bronzer is that slightly more orange shade. It's slightly warmer. It's slightly more, I went out and I sat in the sun for a little bit longer versus the I'm skinny. How do I pick the right color contour for my skin tone? it's really easy, especially when you're bronzing as contour, to use orange colors to contour, especially when you're pale. Just be careful. Please be careful. The darker you get, I think the easier it can be to pass off orangier shades, but still don't do that. It's just not, it's not cute. The contour palette that I have is pretty great. I mean, I bought it originally because I do a lot of other people's makeup as well, but it's a great kind of tool for me. This is a pretty great contour color for light-skinned people, lighter-skinned tones. This is a highlight shade. And then this being the darker shade. So even if you're very darker skin tone, you can still contour. It's still possible. You got this, girl. Have it try and be 3 shades of foundation darker. Roughly. And on the cool side. Why do I look orange? I think that can happen if you use either too warm of a contour shade or you use too small of a brush for your bronzer. So if your contour shade is too warm, that probably signals to me that that actually is more of a bronzer shade, which means that you want to use a fluffier brush anyway. So don't use that small contour brush that we used for our contour powder as your bronzer brush. You definitely want to use a bigger brush that disperses more powder more evenly, and even as you saw, the bronzing powder, we kind of put it everywhere. Kind of like how we just like want to rub it all over our bodies, which some people do. People do that. Why do I look muddy? It's probably because the precision of the contour powder wasn't exact, or you kind of concentrated it in the wrong places. You want to make sure that when you're starting, especially on your cheeks, that's typically where the muddiness happens, you want to make sure that you're starting and concentrating a lot of your color around here near your ears, and then kind of fading it out towards your cheeks. You don't want to start here and then move that way. Know what I mean? Why does it look like I didn't do anything? Well, probably because the contour shade was a little bit too light. As I always say, it's always easier to put more on, it's really hard to take more off. On the other side, hey girl, why does it look crazy right now? First of all, I'm really sorry. I would try and do your best to like maybe hit it with some powder, tone it down, do something to it. You probably just went in with too dark of a shade. So try and lighten it up, or maybe go in with a different color. It's just too dark for your skin tone, and it just becomes too noticeable. The reason why you have to kind of fit into this cute little balance of the right color shade is because we're trying to create the illusion of a shadow. We're not trying to really make it look like we have lines in our face. Alright you guys, that's been contouring for dummies. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. I hope this shit was awesome. I hope I blew your freaking mind. Let me know if you want to see any more videos for dummies, any other things you want to learn. Let me know if you have any questions about contouring. Down below, comment, I will respond. And yeah, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see other cool stuff, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye guys.